Okay, good morning, everybody. Everybody's here now, so we can start. The Shiur today is Lil Nishmas, my father, Menachem Ben Akiva, L'Refuas, Penina Chabas Gil Rochel, L'Refuas Chana Batzima, Or Refuel Ben Dalia, Ve'Latzlochas Kol Klal Yisrael. All the captives should come on very, very, very soon, and be Matzliach, and Mashiach should be here soon. We are now learning Maseches Kiddushin, Daf Mem Dalid Omud Beis, towards the bottom. It's not so bottom, more like the middle of the page. Itmar Ktanish is Kacha Shalol Savia. Before that, we have to know some. Let's summarize and learn some halachos balpeh from the previous amudim. A Ktana and a Naira are two types of young girls. Tana is from the age of 0 till the age of Bas Mitzvah or Shnei Simonim. Naira is from when she's 2 Simonim until half a year later. What about a man? The Torah says that a man has the right to be Mekadesh, to be in charge of the Kiddushin. He is the owner of the Kiddushin of both Ktana and Naira. So now, the father may receive the Kiddushin, the father may receive the get. Get, he may only receive if she is still Mekudeshes, Meoreses, but not Nesua. Once the Ktana, Kolshik and the Naira are Nesua, fully married, they were under the Huppah, and they've been already living with a man, then he is not in charge of them. He cannot be Mekadesh them anymore, cannot receive the get of that Nisun, etc. Only from Kiddushin. Now, receiving a get. Do the Nair and Ktana have any kind of freedom to receive their own Kiddushin? That's a question. To receive Gitin, we paskin, the halacha, I'm now going to the halacha. The halacha is that a Naira may receive her get. Yes, she may receive her get. But like Rabbi Yochanan said, she may not receive her own Kiddushin. Yeah, right? A Naira may receive her get, but not her Kiddushin. We explain the difference why. We passed in the Rabbi Yochanan that Shulchan Aruch. We saw that Rish Lakish was very upset. Nobody heard him. Halachas like Rabbi Yochanan. Now, welcome. What happens next? What about a Naira to make a shliach? She cannot make a shliach. She may receive her own get, but she may not make a shliach to receive the get. It's Naira, that's halach in Shulchan Aruch. What about a Ktana? A Ktana is way less than a Naira because a Ktana has no. A Ktana may have the koch to receive the get. It's a machloikis. I kept reading according to Rashi. It's a machloikis is showing whether Ktana can even receive her get. Receive her own kiddushin. Forget it, man. No way she can receive her kiddushin. What about if the father? Of course, she can't make a shliach. What about if the father is dead? Father is dead. So sad. And then comes a big difference between Naira and Ktana. Why? And Naira was limited because she is a free. And Naira is a big is an adult. Halachically. And Naira is an adult. Elamai is an adult. She has the father, so to speak, sitting over her head. The father's reshus is over her, right? And therefore, she wasn't able to do shliach. She wasn't able to receive her own kiddushin. The father was in charge. Once the father is dead, the Naira may do all that. The Naira may receive her own kiddushin, and the Naira may receive also her own, not only her own get, she can even make a shluch for the get. She can do everything, the Naira. But she'enken the Ktana may not. A Ktana, it's not because the father was on top of her. A Ktana is, I don't want to insult the children, she's a non-entity. A Ktana cannot receive her own kiddushin because she can't be makne herself, not midoraisa. We're going to see this in next sugya. A Ktana may not receive her own kiddushin even if father is dead because ein maise Ktana klum. We're going to see this Rashi later. Ein maise Ktana klum. What a Ktana does is irrelevant, and therefore she may not receive her kiddushin. Receive the get, she may. Why? Because the get is not a maise. She may receive her get, right? If she's big enough, if she's old enough to understand something, she may receive her own get. It's also a question, but that seems to be the halacha. But she'en can to make a shliach to receive the get, no. The naira can, but the ktana cannot, because to make a shliach is a maisa. To receive a get is passive, mele. But to receive kiddushin and decide that she's getting married to that guy, or to make a shliach for gitin, that she cannot do as a ktana. Ktana is a gornished mitnisht. That is the basically the halacha up until now. And now we start with a whole new question. Itmar. Having said all that, we're in for a surprise. Itmar. Yeah, Itmar is a statement by the Amoraim, which Mechavrusa told me is always a machloikis. Amoraim, there's always a machloikis after an Itmar. The shears le'ilu nishmas hen yarei shabbos elchon and yitzchok. Itma, Ktana sheniskadsha shelo l'das avia. A Ktana, below Bat Mitzvah, received Kiddushin without her father's consent or knowledge. So we just said it's nothing. Omer Shmuel, tzricha get v'tzricha miyun. Wow. Tzricha get and tzricha miyun. She needs two things. She needs to receive a get from the guy who was Mekadesh her, and she needs to also make mi'un. What's mi'un? Let's introduce ourselves to Mr. Mi'un, which we've seen here and there in the past, but now mi'un is going to be more central. The original idea of mi'un is if a ktana has kiddushin, ktana was subject to kiddushin derabonon only, those kiddushin may be annulled by mi'un, meaning if a ktana's father died, then, well, there is no father, obviously. So now she cannot be Mekadesh herself. She's a ktana. Her mai says nothing. Her mother and her brothers, or as we're going to see later, she herself were Miskadesh to some nice guy down the block, right? Some nice 15 years old boy. So those kiddushin are only with the Rabbanon. Rabbanon instigated, Rabbanon established that there may be kiddushin the Rabbanon for a ktana that has no father. I repeat, that has no father. So she shouldn't go into znus or abuse, like we think that marriage underage is such a terrible thing. It's the other way around. If she wouldn't be married, she wouldn't be going nicely to Miss Yaakov. She'd be running around the street, and the wrong kind of guy would catch her. Yeah. So therefore, it's actually good for her, even if the father's not alive, to be Mekudeshes, to be in some sort of framework, relationship, be Mekudeshes. However, Chachamim, on the other hand, realize that, it's only the Rabbanon, it's only our thing, and may not always be the best thing for her. So she can cancel her own Kiddushin by doing Miyun. What does Lema'en mean? Vaymoin, it's all movement today, Vaymoin. She basically refuses at some point, and she says, she goes out of the house, she says to people in the house, I don't know, very informal. She can go and tell one person or three people. She can say, I'm not sure, there are different things there. She can tell the people, I don't want that man, and finished. And the marriage is annulled. The easiest way to annul a marriage, that's miyun. So the original miyun is something very light that cancels, rules out kiddushin that are only the rabbanon. So here, this is very interesting. There are two surprises here. We see that a ktana was miskadesh without his father's knowledge, which up until now we said, and I stand by what I said. It's a nothing, sheba nothing. The father is alive. The father is alive. She was miskadesh. The 5 years old received a real fancy candy, a 6 shekel candy, nice with many colors, made in China with a good hechsher from that uncle over there. And she is now what? We are choishesh that this may be real marriage, even though she's a ktana. So she needs a get, but on top of the get, she also has to do miyun. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you the answer now. The Gemara doesn't, so do I. So now, Omar Karna, if you're surprised about Shmuel's statements, I recommend you remember the names. Shmuel is the one who says she needs get and she needs miyun. Omar Karna, Dvorim Begoy, says Karna, something is in here. There's something strange, Begoy, inside. In your word, there is something going on which I don't think makes sense. In get, lama miyun. In miyun, lama get. As much as you think that Ektanis Kiddushin are real, then she needs get. So why does she need miyun? Miyun is only necessary for Kiddushin that are second grade, only the Rabbana, they're not Choshuv. And if you believe that the Kiddushin of the Ktana, there may be some kind of Gzera Rabbanon, maybe something happened, then only Miyun. So why do you also need to get? Mechitesi. I'm very tempted to tell you the reason, but so far I won't. So now we are continuing this story, and then the Gemara will explain. The Gemara will tell you the story. Amule. So they told Kana, listen, Kana, Homer Ukva, Ubeidine Bekafri. Shmuel is far away. Shmuel is far away from us, right? Because he lives in Ardo. If you want to ask other people, ask Mar Ukva and his BSD. They'll explain to you Shmuel's stand on the matter. And they're in a place called Kafri, in the village maybe. They didn't know either. The people of Kafri, Mar Ukva, they decided to send it to Rav. Basically, there's machlokes now between who? Shmuel, so to speak, there's Shmuel's statement, and Ula is questioning him. What did Shmuel say? The girl needs get and miyun. And Ula says, what? It doesn't make sense that she would need either, as we'll see later. Ula definitely disagrees with Shmuel. So now they played a trick over here. They did a shtick. They did a shtick over here. They wanted to ask Rav the question. And they said, Rav is always, not always, Khalila, Rav, you'll be surprised, was a good friend of his opponent, Shmuel. They both had a similar life story. They both started off in Eretz Yisrael. So did Shmuel, started in Eretz Yisrael. They were disciples of Rabbi Yehuda Nossi, Shmuel as well as Rav. They were connected to him. We saw in Bava Metzia Daf Pei Amud Beis, somebody reminded me yesterday, Yaakov, that Shmuel was Rebbe's doctor. So Rav and Shmuel were good friends, and Rav went to Bavel, Shmuel went to Bavel, Rav followed him 2 years later. That's Maseches Shabbos, Daf Kufches, v'chule v'chule. So now, because Rav is always kivyochol more, leaning to say towards Shmuel, they wanted to say what would Rav really say? They did. Look at the Gemara. Apchua shadru alekami de Rav. They changed over the opinions. And they said that what Ula said is really what Shmuel is. They said it on the F of Shmuel, and what Shmuel said, they said on the F of Ula. To see that, in other words, we want to see if your question mark makes sense. So we're going to say as if your question mark saying, what? Miyun Chalitza doesn't make sense. They said Ki'ilu Shmuel said it. Yes. What? Karna. I'm sorry. Karna will be supported by Ula later. Sorry. Thank you. Karna will soon have a supporter, Ula. Yeah, each one had his own campaign. Yeah? So Ula, right? Sorry, Ula versus Shmuel. They changed opinions to see. Yeah, will give you support, saying that you, Karna, your question, Ki'ilu Shmuel asked it. Ki'ilu Shmuel is the one who said that there's no room for Miyun and Chalitza and Miyun and Get, and see what Rav said even then. Yeah, to give it the real litmus test. Omar Lehu. So how did Rav respond? Thinking that Shmuel is the one who denied the need for miyun and get. Ha'elokim, I swear, tzricha get v'tzricha miyun, says Rav. Surely the little girl who was miskadesh without her father's knowledge, against what I told you all the time, she needs get and miyun. I swear by Hashem. The chatzle, and is that what Shmuel said? Instead of supporting Shmuel, as much as Shmuel is my good friend, I don't believe he said such a thing. The chatzle lezare the Abba bar Abba the nemahachi. I feel bad. Chatz v'shalom. I have rachmanus, or Hashem should have rachmanus on the son of Abba bar Abba. Abba bar Abba was Avur de Shmuel. Avur de Shmuel was called Abba, yeah. And Avur de Shmuel, I feel bad for him that his son would say such a thing, because they told him that Shmuel said what Karna said, right? Okay. So then, so therefore, okay, Bekitzer, we have Rav and Shmuel requiring get and miyun for a girl who just for herself went to the market, met a nice guy, and what? He was Makadesh her. And yeah, we're concerned and we say she needs to get to the miyun. Correct the Gemara. Everybody here wants to know. You're all biting your nails. Yeah. The time am I? Well, why is that? Well, what's going on here? She needs both. Tzricha get shema nisrat sa'av b'kiddushin. Wow. Says the Gemara as follows. We are concerned maybe later on, after the father heard that the girl met a nice guy in the street, and he said, or maybe he thought in his heart, that's cool. He's actually a nice guy. He learns he's the best boy in the yeshiva Ketana, Shiur base. And I think he'll be a terrific son-in-law for me and good husband for my daughter, by that order. Maybe the father really wanted those kiddushin, and therefore it's a good kiddushin. So, but he wasn't there at the time of kiddushin, right? Only afterwards. Yeah, I stand by what I say. This is, I shouldn't say crazy, but the one who saves our lives here is, no, not, I mean, I'm sure the Ritva also, the Ran. The Ran gives here a magic explanation, but soon we're going to continue. No. Let's stop here. Let's stop here and explain to the Ran. The Ran says as follows. We all know what we learned many times before, that if I walking down the street, I see an envelope with 1,000,000 shekels. I'm going down from dollars to shekels, and I pick up the $1,000,000 envelope for Baruch, right, my friend over here, and I pick it up on your behalf, and you don't know, you're in Chavtziba, and I'm in Ramah Aleph, and I pick it up having you in mind. It's yours. Right? Oh, the question is, what about Kiddushin? when the boy gave the underage girl Kiddushin, right, the father wasn't there. But maybe, now there's a question, when I'm a Kaddish someone's daughter, is that a zchus or a choiva? If I pick up something for you that's not for you, something that says Baruch Hu owns the government, chas v'shalom, should mention, no, somebody, not you. If I pick up an envelope for Shlomiel Shlomanovsky that says he owes the government $1,000,000 shekel, he doesn't want that. I'd rather let it be destroyed, right? So that's a choiva. When I'm a Kaddish someone's daughter in general, and let's say she's daughter under his auspices, a ketana, is that a zchus or a choiva? Is that a credit or a debit? Is that a plus or a minus? Which means, well, there are two sides. On one hand, you can say, which Jewish daddy doesn't want to see his daughter under the chuppah? The younger the better, trust me. So now that's one side. It's a Chen, he's losing, but who's going to fold the laundry? Who's going to do the dishes? His wife's busy, right? So Mimela, no, not joking, he's losing the chusim, he's losing Maaseh Yodea. But see also, we can say a lot of balabatish words here and there. Let's trust the run. The kids are okay. Oh, so now, well, how do you know if it's a zchus or a choiva? Well, you just ask the man. The man, the father. At some point, we are choishesh that he heard about it. Makes sense. He would. You know, they're planning a wedding already in the Waldorf Astoria. Yeah, and now he heard about it, and maybe he wanted it. There's obviously all set of questions here in the Rishonim. If he refused, let's just assume now that we don't know what's the father's stand on it. It will be discussed later. Let's say now it was poker faced and we don't know how to interpret it. So it's a suffix. Why is it a suffix? If you say that for him, it's like, oh, he gave her Kiddushin? Like a cold Litvish guy. I'm not sure if he's like, he's happy, or is like, I want to kill her right now. I'm not sure what he means. And therefore, if he's happy, Lemafreya, that was like picking up $1,000,000 envelope. I don't care he's not there. I don't care he didn't hear. The mere fact that I at the end know that he wants it, retroactive, these things work retroactively. I know it's a zchus for him. It was a zchus, it works. And now she's mekudeshet. Ki'ilu, it's his consent. We assume that if I pick up the $1,000,000 envelope for you, even though you're not there, I can envision your smiling face. It's Kili you want it, right? That's the idea. But maybe it's a choiva, we don't know. And we don't play games with Eishatish. Eishatish, excuse the pun, is not a child's play, not even if she's a ktana. And therefore we play it safe. And therefore, leyeter bitachon, to be on the safe side, the extra safe, we give her a get because maybe the father wanted. If he says that he didn't want later, we don't always believe him. Maybe you said later on you didn't want, but maybe at the very moment when you first heard about it, you did want. You said, no, Mazel Tov. Finally, she'll stop running around throwing mud in the chotzer. You know, let her, she'll stop bringing bad notes from school. Let her get married, settled down already. Later on, you had second thoughts. But no, therefore, there's a chash, and therefore, give her a get. As always, run. Okay? What? Verrek the heilige Gemure. Vetzricha miyun. So why does she need miyun? Dog the Gemara, Shema loini satza b'kiddushin. We don't know. Poker. We don't know. Maybe the father did not want the kiddushin. So what? Here you have to old cop. I'm telling you guys, if you listen now, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. I taught this not so long ago, and I know. The next line, you just have to listen once very, very well, and then the world will be yours. The Yomu, there's a chashash, maybe she's not mekudeshes. The Yomu, people would say, Ein kiddushin tovsin b'achoiso. People will think that if the same man will be mekadesh a sister is not mekudeshes. I will explain nice and slow once, and then if you get that, you get the whole story. The story is as follows. One, let me ask you a question. There are many, many times, as we've seen in Maseches Kiddushin more than once, you have a suffix on Kiddushin, mekudeshes, not mekudeshes. So one would say that's a shaila in the times of the Chazon Ish to ask the question. And they say, let's play it safe and give her a get. Yeah. A bit of time, a bit of money, but Eishatish don't play games. So give her a get and, solve the problem. What do you do if you don't know if you benched or didn't bench? Bench again. Well, what's the problem? Spend 5 more minutes. And it's not so simple. A woman who is not Mikudeshes, right, who never really got on the 50% side that she wasn't Mikudeshes, and you give her a get, there is a very big halachic problem. As an aside, before we go on the roller coaster, I'll tell you a small piece of information. The Chazon Ish said it's moitzi laz on Bas Yisrael. Not every woman wants to have a status of divorce. Definitely not in the frum world. And then a kohen, and then this, and the family, grusha. We live in a community where divorce, Baruch Hashem, is not the hottest, the most normal thing. That's besides the point. That's not the issue here. The issue is much worse now. Listen to the following story. Let's say what's the guy's name? Levi. Let's make it a bit more unique. The 15 years old Levi was Mekadesh 10 years old girl, yeah. Now Levi, we say, oh, you're Mekadesher? We don't know, father Azoi. Let's play it safe. Maybe the father wanted it, we give her a get. Ah, okay. So now we think that he was married to her. If she really had the real get, real life get in BSD, what do people think? Levi and everybody else, they think that she was his wife. And then they got divorced. Okay. Now, you know what? Levi, 2 years down the line, Levi, 15 years old now, he's 17 years old, Shidduchim. Now he's dating her sister. Leah. Levi and Leah are dating. He's dating the sister of his Grusha. And from some reason, you can ask why, he's Mekadesh, her sister. What are you making faces? He's not such a knowledgeable guy. He didn't know, and the rabbi didn't know, or people didn't make the cheshbon. It happened. Let's say it was Mekadesh, her sister. It was a summer camp, and they made the game. I don't know. Lamaise was Mekadesh, her sister. And then, no. Listen carefully. No, she was, well, one second. He was Makadesh's sister. Now you have to think in two different lines. You have to think now two different parallel lines. You have to be with me now. He was Makadesh's sister. Aliba de Emes, that girl, there's 50% side, she wasn't his wife, right? Now, if you, let's start with you. Let's say the little girl, Rochel, call her Rochel, if she was really his wife, really his wife, then when he put the finger over Leah's sister, the sister Leah, nothing happened. If you Mekadesh your divorcee sister, nothing happened. It's like Mekadesh your own sister. Nothing. It's Isser Chorus. Nothing really happened. It's a joke. It's stupidity. And she doesn't need the get. Right? Okay? But maybe Rochel was not his wife. It's a domino game. It's an Othello game. If she was not your wife, the first one, then the second one, Leah, is your wife. And if you want to get rid of her, you have to give her a get. That's the problem. Now let's get to the point of it. If you only give the get to Rochel, the little girl, people will be sure, Rochel was his wife, and they got divorced, and Leah, it's nothing, it's a joke, it's a game, it's a riot. And they would say, you don't need to write Leah a get, you're wasting your time and money, you threw me, you can send her away, because nothing happened. But they may be wrong. It may be wrong, because maybe, really, good chances are 50%, that Rachel wasn't his wife, and therefore Leah is his wife, and Leah needs a get now to get rid of each other. That's why we balance it, we mitigate the get, and we balance it, making it look lighter, and we make her say miun. What's miun? Miun is in Kiddushin Dorabonon. Now everybody knows that it's a crazy situation of maybe it was serious marriage get, maybe it was nothing, and therefore only miun. And then if he marries her sister Leah, so now it's besofik, I recommend that he doesn't touch her, because he may be Isser Chorus. But in the case that she's not Isser Chorus, because in case of the first marriage was nothing, the marriage to Leah is real, he has to give Leah a get to the sister. And that we only achieve by making the first marriage a clear maybe. I repeat what I said, a clear maybe. We make sure that the Welt knows that the first marriage is extra safety. We played it safe. We gave get, but we're not sure it's a get. Because if people will think it's a sure get, they will tell him, okay, no problem. That if you marry Leah, you can get rid of her like that, and then it'd be terrible. We always have to keep cheshbon both sides. That's the name of the game. That's why we need to have both get and miun. And we will repeat that later on anyways in the next Amud, so I'm not going to repeat it right now unless you want me to. Let me accept. Yeah, quick. Yes, I'll accept you now. Yeah. Good. Right. Look, I think we should continue. Yeah. Now, Omar of Nachman says, Rav Nachman, I can accept what you say with one condition. I accept you, Shmuel and Rav. Omar of Nachman, vehu shidchu. Shiduchim, in other words. Why would you think that the father, his daughter went against his back, and she's a shnukova, I don't know, 6 years old. She accepted Kiddushin from some guy, You really think a father would go for that? There's a sad the father would be happy with that? I only accept that if there was shidduchim before. Oh, in other words, that Rochel, 9 years old Rochel, she's already 9. She has to go on shidduchim, Kita Gimel, Dalet, shidduchim. She was in shidduchim. She dated the guy a few times, yeah. And there was, it was getting serious. And then, without the father knowledge, he gave her the pruta. It was Mekadesh. Oh, then I can hear that if the father heard it afterwards, maybe it wasn't so crazy that it did without him. They didn't invite him to the fort. But Lamaisa, yeah, he's happy that the shidduch that he knows about went through. But otherwise, no. Otherwise, mapitom. If it's a stranger in the market who gave her the ring, of course the father wouldn't have agreed. Not even chashash of that. Ula Omar. Now, Ula, remember, I got confused before? Oh, Ula is the main opponent. Ula is the head of the party, who is the other side from Shmuel, who is opposing Shmuel. Afilu miyun eina tzricha. No, says Ula, I don't go for this whole business. Maybe nothing. She does need miyun. She does need get. We're not concerned that the father may be wanted. That's beyond our need for being choishish. I don't accept it. She doesn't need anything. She doesn't need miyun, let alone a get. Would you be so certain of what you say, even if there were mishadech? Why? If there was shidduch before, maybe the father was happy that the shidduch went through. And says the Gemara, the one who learned this didn't learn that, which means the one who said afilu shidchu, which is Rav Nachman, yeah, the Amoraim quoting Rav Nachman, they did not quote Ula saying that she does need miyun, which means enachinami. In case of shidduch, Ula did not talk about a case of shidduch. In case of shidduch, enachinami, Ula would agree. Oh, there was a shidduch. I'm concerned that the father wanted it, and maybe something went on. There's a chash kiddushin. Yeah, in other words, it was cross. Yeah, the one who said afilu shidchu, he did not quote Ula. Ula spoke without shidduchim. The father had no idea. Then of course the father is not interested. But be ready for a surprise. Amri, some say no. Omer Ula, Ula is getting here very black and white, very blunt. Full stop, even with shiduchim, say the Rishonim. Nothing. Says Rashi, and Maise Ktana Klum B'chai Avia. A Ktana who does something, as long as at the moment the father wasn't there giving his Rashus, her Maise is not a Maise. As we said before, we have nothing against little kids. They're so beautiful and amazing, especially after 9 o'clock at night when they run around. Little kids are amazing, but they are non-entity. So her Maise, as long as it wasn't done with a pre-haskam of the father, nice, clear, and blunt and clear and good, her Maise is nothing. Says Ula, and even if afterwards, we don't go with this whole retractive business, because her Maise, as long as there was no haskama on site of the father, it's nothing. It's like a monkey would do something, and then you'd make all kinds of lom d'shecheshbonis. It's a monkey. She's not there, Bechlal, to do anything, says Ula. Yeah. So Ula and Karna, who do you vote for? Rav and Shmuel together. Whoo! Against Ula and Karna. So Rav and Shmuel say what? Rav and Shmuel say that you need get and you need miyun. Ula and probably Karna, unless Karna was convinced, I'm not so sure. But Ula is the diehard. Ula is the head of the party. And Ula says nothing at all, no get, no miyun. And this is we're holding now. Now we're going to start playing the game. Now we're going Kederech Gemara to ask questions on each party from different brises and mishnayos. Rabbi Rosen, what would you like to enlighten us with? Thank you, Rav Kahana. Oh, here's a case of Yevomis. Yeah, you don't have to faint just because you see the word Yevomis. This one is actually a rather easy case. As we all know, first Mishnah in Yevomis, how does it start? With which number? 15, very good. 15 women are types of arayas. There are 15 women that cannot become Yavoma to the Yavam, right? Soon we're going to give a very clear example. And if they cannot be Misyabim because they and the Yavam cannot marry, so too are the Tzara of the Yavoma. Let me explain, which means, let's say, very, very, very easy case. Let's say that's the easiest case, and that's the case over here. That's why there are no charts. People see Yavamas, they get, palpitating. It's not. It's easiest case. So, although a man is not allowed to marry his auntie, but a man is allowed to marry his niece. It's even a mitzvah. Even a mitzvah says in the Gemara to marry your basa choiso. The Gemara says it in Thomas. Basically, a man marries his niece. It's so very nice. But the two brothers are alive. Let's just stick to the traditional Reuven and Shimon. Reuven has a daughter, okay, and Uncle Shimi married Reuven's daughter, Mazel Tov. Oh no, not Mazel Tov. The day after the marriage, Shimon died in a truck accident. That was so tragic. So now, what happens next? Who's going to be me'abim her? Who's the Ovam? The father. The father, I think, halachically, if I'm not mistaken, the father is not allowed to marry his own daughter, right? Am I Rabbi Kiva Eger somewhere? I'm not sure. Yeah, Machloikis. So the kids are a father to marry his daughter is an Isur Kolis. And therefore, clearly, the father, Reuven, cannot marry his daughter, Rochel, and therefore nothing happened. No Zika Bichlal, nothing ever started. She can go marry whatever she wants, whoever she wants. And we don't say one overrides the other, but really the Isur Koris overrides Yibum, no Yibum. That's not even, it is a Chiddush, by the way, but there's a bigger Chiddush. What happens if Shimon, Uncle Shimon, the one who died, he had two wives. He had two tsaros, co-wives, yeah? He had two wives, Rachel, the daughter of Reuven, and Prince Abela, who's absolutely not related to the family. Ah, wait. So maybe the father, why not? You're allowed to have two women. We're allowed to before. No, not two sisters. I didn't say two sisters. Two co-wives. No, Reuven and Shimon are brother. Reuven and Shimon are brothers. Shimon married his niece and also married a girl from I don't know, Ethiopia, not related to Bechla, Makashur. He married two girls. One is the niece. So the niece herself is potter from Yibum because she can't marry her father, I think. Now, what about the other wife? Maybe she's also Chayv Yibum, right? So maybe she should marry Reuven. That's the first mission of Yevomas. The Tsar saying something like that. You know, Mishnah is better than me. The Kitzer, if he's married to 15 sister wives, it's called in America. Yeah, none of them is. It's a psukim. We learn the Kitzer. None of them is chayv yibum to the father. They're all potter, lucky girls. They don't have to have chalitza yibum, no zika, no nothing. So far, so good, amazing, nice, very nice. Let's see now what Rav Kana wants to ask for us. Third wide line. Mesiv Rav Kana. Rav Kana is about to attack one of the opinions we saw before. The Kulan, all these 15 women and their tsoros, imesu. Let's say the tsoro, right? Imesu. Let's say the tsoro died, yeah, before he died, yeah. Let's say they died before the husband, okay? They themselves died, not the Tzara. Let's say Reuven's daughter, who's potter from the Yibum, she died before Shimon died. She's married to Uncle Shimon, to Uncle Shimi, okay? She died before he died, and the only surviving wife that outlived him is a foreign one. Is the one from Ethiopia, the one not from the family. All these girls, Imesu, if the erva herself, let's say the daughter of the Yovam, who can't marry her father, she died. Or they had miun. Ah, she's the little girl who does miun. Only ktanas can do miun. Onis galshu, or they got divorced. Or shinimtsu elonis. They're found out to be elonis, a woman that cannot have children, and therefore the whole kiddushin is a mekachtos. Yeah. Saroisen mutarois. The tzara is mutar. Yeah. Then we say mutaris too to the yovam. In other words, very easy Allah. Again, no big chidushim kivyachol. Again, why is Reuven not mi'abim any of the two? Because Reuven cannot touch his own daughter, and therefore she brings along to the right the other wife, the tzara. None of them will have to do with Reuven. However, if the girl, Reuven's daughter, the erva, died, or miun, or chalitza, or anything, the kids, if her marriage terminated before the fatal car accident when Shimon died, then at the moment of death, she was irrelevant. She was not in the story. The only surviving wife is the Ethiopian. The Ethiopian therefore has to what? The other wife, the other one not related, she has to do what? She has Yibum with Reuven because she's not related to Reuven. So far, so good. We're not going more complicated than that. Let's just siphon one word of the story. Did you say the word mi'un? Ooh. And the father's alive. That's the whole business here. Reuven, the father, is very much alive. He's the star of the show. Who are the stars of the drama? Reuven and Rochel. So now Reuven, what about him? The father is alive. And his daughter Rochel had miun while he's alive. Ah, how could that be? Traditionally, miun is done after the father is dead. That's what you always learn in the Shiva. That's basics. And here we see there's miun while the father is still alive. How is that? Let's see how that reflects on our sugya. Prekt the gemure. What did we say? The kid shaman. How did that little girl, how is that little girl mekudesh at such a young age to her uncle Shimi? Ilem the kid shavia. If you say that the father was mekadesh or Reuven was in charge, and that is what? The Oraisa. Complete distribution the Oraisa. The miun sagila, which mean you're talking about? Chas v'sholem. Get me'alia by. She needs a get. What's me'alia? A good. She needs an excellent get. Obviously, if there was real Kiddushin D'Oraisa, well, Reuben was alive and Reuben was Mekadosh to his brother Shimon, which can be done. Miun is not there. Mapitom, you need a real get. Elalav, the Kicha Nafsha. Must be that she went. While Reuben is alive, she went to her uncle. The uncle and her had Kiddushin behind the father's back. She was Mekadosh Yosef to Uncle Shimi. Viktani D'Bai Miun, question mark. You see that she needs miun. So must be that who was right? You see that she needs miun. Probably she needs miun. Well, the father's, well, because she did it. She needs get, obviously, and miun. And that is what? That supports big time Shmuel and Rav. Vote for Shmuel and Rav. What does Shmuel and Rav say? Needs miun and she needs a get. And here you see a reality in Yevomis right from the start. There's a little girl and the father is alive and miun. How could that be? Must be what we said. Maybe the father was misratze. She needs get an immune. Answers the Gemara. Who Moisiv lo, who mefarik lo. Rav Kana is the one who asked the question. Moisiv, what's mefarek? He is the one giving the answer. Rav Kana asked and he answered. There is another way of a girl to do immune while the father is alive, and it is not the classical immune of the father is alive, not the one of her brother and mother. How is that? What did I tell you all along? When is a girl still not our orphan? She has a father till 120 and he's no reshus over her, even though she's underage. If she already married, lagamre, chupa. Once she was under the Jewish chupa and she was mamish living with a guy with Kiddushin, chupa, not Kiddushin, Kiddushin and chupa. Therefore, she's out of the reshus of the father. The father, let's say she got divorced or widowed, which is, or whatever, then in that case, we say that she's independent. The father cannot marry her anymore. The father cannot sell her anymore. The father cannot do anything anymore. And as says the Gemara, there was a Maaseh Yesoyma b'chaya av. You always hear these horrible stories, people who collect money for all the tragic stories. Yosem b'chaya av, that's the source. I'm not making fun, of really tragic stories. Yosem Mechayav really means her father is alive, but she has a status of Yesoima. Why? Because she was fully married, then she got divorced. She's already a fancy woman with a shetel, with a mitpachet. Meaning halachically, he has no reshus over her. Where's miun? Why miun? Let's say the girl herself. I want to ask you the question now. I can't talk so much. Now, let's say that girl, 9 years old, she's been through a lot. She has a history. She had kiddushin, she had nisuin, she had divorce or almanus. Can she now, independently at the age of 7, accept Kiddushin from other people? The father cannot. The father cannot because its kilo is dead. He lost the kesher, he lost the rights over her because she was fully married, not only Kiddushin. Can she now receive Kiddushin from a nice guy, go on dates and receive Kiddushin? No. As we said, Ktana can never do a Maisa. And it's an independent, that's the difference between her and Naira. That's one of the differences. Naira could, Ktana cannot. Because en ma'aseh ktana klum. Zok Rashi, en ma'aseh ktana klum. So what's the mean? Midarabonon. In other words, if the ktana received kiddushin, we actually encourage it. Because if she's not mekudesh to one guy, that little girl, she's been for marriage, she knows about men, she knows about this, she's going to start be taken advantage. You don't know where she's going to end up, lo aleinu. Therefore, what do we say? Rabbanon basically instituted midarabonon. If she received kiddushin, then it is something. It's a chiddush derabbanon. You can ask her questions, but that's the rabbanon, and therefore, for that, miyun is enough. So that was the story. So really, that girl received kiddushin from, you know why there was miyun? Because the father was still alive, but there was real chuppah, already before. Once it was chuppah, and the second marriage she had to her uncle was her second marriage. Yes, second marriage. At that marriage, after it was real marriage with another guy, with Shlumiel, her second marriage is her uncle, then the father has nothing to say. and therefore it's her, and it was miyun. But a girl who received kiddushin while the father is alive and she's single, she's spinster, she never had marriage before, father is in charge. And then Ula and his party, Ula and Karna would say, Ma pitam, this Mishnah doesn't bother us at all. If she's a little girl, normal circumstances, the father has a shoot, she's single, she's a besula, and therefore what she does is nothing nothing, not miyun, not shmiyun. So say them, while Rav and Shmuel say we're choishish, and we say that she needs get and miyun. Back to the same machlokes, all is well. Weiter, but Macy Vavimnun, I see somebody from New Jersey is bothered over here. Yeah, I mean from Mishkafayim. Macy Vavimnun is now asking another question on the machlokes we just saw. Now let's go back to Yi'ud. Yi'ud. What did we say about Yi'ud? Yi'ud is when a person sells his daughter as an Amma, and eventually one of the optional happy ends of that story is that she marries her boss. She marries the balabais, and that's encouraged. Very nice. Now, and that's Yi'ud. Yeah, even Libnoya Dena to him or to his son, there's Yi'ud. Very nice. Now, let me ask you a question. Can a girl be sold as an amma to her own brother? She's 9 years old. The father really, 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 really needs the money. Otherwise, he's not allowed to sell her. And even that, so Chachamim don't like that. So he has to sell her. And her brother happens to be a man of means. Her 25 years old brother is married, he's settled, he's nice. And what can I sell her to her own brother to be an amma? Well, why not? She can wash his dishes and she's going to love looking after her nephews. But she can never marry because there's a minhag by the Tunisian people that a brother and sister don't get married, right? And also by other Jews, right? Brother and sister, no marriage. That's machlokes tanaim, which we've seen already before. Amar Rabim Nuna says the Brisa, and mochel koivim. A man cannot sell his daughter to relatives whom she's not allowed to marry because it would be an Isser Koros. They're not allowed. Meaning every shifchus has to potentially, not always, but potentially, you have to give it the potential, the chance to morph into marriage. That can happen. It cannot happen with kroivim. However, Mishum Rav Lazar, there's a reason why they argue over there. The Psukim, Rav Lazar says you can. No, you don't always have to have the option of Yud. Go wash the floor by your brother. It's going to give me 6 million shekel for you, which you desperately need. Yeah, very nice. And what? And you'll wash his floors and dishes and change the diapers and the nappies for 6 years. What will happen in the end? You won't get married, obviously. And therefore, he says, no, not every shifchus has to have the potential of becoming married. So far, so good. And so far, we're happy nobody's asking. The Shovin, the man with Aleph, both parties agree, both the Nakam and Blazer both agree. The Shovin both agree. The Loshen Veshovin always means that. In the Mishnah, Shovin means equal. Shovin in the Mishnah means they both agree, equally agree in the context of Mishnah. The Shovin, both opinions agree. In other words, can I sell a little girl, because a big girl it cannot sell as a shifcha, not even an ira, by the way. Can I sell my 9 years old daughter, my 11 years old daughter? Let's say they're already almana, they have a history, or they're already grusha from previous marriage, and I want to sell them now to a kohen gadol, and she's an almana, or she's a grusha or chalutza. I want to sell her to a kohen hediot. Is that possible? We say yes. Why? Well, why does everyone agree to that? I thought Anakama said that it has to at least potentially transform into marriage. That's true. If a kohen marries a grusha, that's not just a very bad thing. It's Malchus, it's terrible, it's noira, but it's toifus. It's a marriage. They're called a husband and a wife. Yes. If a kohen marries a grusha, because they're not chai the kores, the chai the lavim. It's not an Isser Koros. It's not an Isser Koros for a kohen with a grusha, or can go to almana. It's a chai the malchus. It's very bad. Nobody's mekel, but the marriage, in simple Hebrew language, catches toifes, or in English, it applies. It's valid. It's not a good marriage. It's valid marriage, and therefore, if you sold your daughter the grusha or the almana to kohen hediot or kohen gadol, the sale is a sale. Yeah, because if they marry, it would work. Not that we encourage it, but it's good enough to be a potential yud, not kosher, but potentially it's not a joke. Okay, wait a second. What did you say? There's a little girl here. Her father is selling her to Mr. Kohen Gadol. He's selling her to Mr. Kohen Hediot, and she's an almana. Okay, so she's an almana, and she's sold by her father. That's interesting. I wanna refresh your memories. In Daf Yud Ches, we saw that doesn't make sense. Let's see. Let Ligmar talk. Hi almana echidami. What's the story of this almana exactly? Can we just zone in on that? Ilem the kid shavia. Well, maybe the father was Makadisher. She was single. She was still single at the age of 8. Yeah, and the father was Makadisher, normal, like she has reshus. The husband died. Good. No, it's not good. Mimatzi masbin la. Can he, after she was married, is he able to, after her marriage terminated by divorce or by death, she was almona or grusha. Can he now sell her? Second round at the age of 11, can he sell her? If you remember, there was a machloikis about shifchus achar shifchus, Rab Shimon and Chachamim, but everyone agreed that's halacha. If a man already sold his daughter as ishus and she was someone's wife, he cannot downgrade her now and sell her the shifcha. You have one go in the matter, okay? So that cannot be, right? So you can't have a man who had good doraisa normal marriage under him, then it's finished, and then okay, you know what? Tomorrow you're sold to the nice guy, Mr. Cohen. No, you can't sell her. Elalav, we're again being cornered to saying what? Elalav the Kadishi Nafsha. Must be, she was Makadish herself, right? She was Makadish herself. And what? The husband died. And now we say, and let's say there was no chuppah. Careful, we're stepping into a minefield. There was no chuppah, there was only Kiddushin. She was Moreses or Mekudeshes, not to the Kohen. She was Mekudeshes to Mr. Levy, to Mr. Someone, by herself, and she's called an almana. She's called a halachic almana. That we are choshesh that we say, oh, she can't be with a Kohen Gadol. It's a chiddush. Oh, almana Kohen Gadol. Ah, because the Eved. What do you mean? According to you, Ula and Karna, your party, it's nothing. According to you, if she received kiddushin from a strange person without the father knowing, it's like, what did you play as kids? I used to play Shotrim V'Ganavim. Do you think I was really a policeman? No. Do you think I was a thief? I wasn't. It's a child's game. It's nothing. So why are you saying that this girl, who clearly did it herself, because if the father did it, he has no go anymore, has no reshut. She is the one, yeah, he's selling her, and she's the one who did it. She's the one who got herself into this kiddushin, which you say is a joke. No, it's not a joke. You see, she's called an almana vis-a-vis a question if she can marry Kohen Gadol, and she can't marry Kohen Gadol. So you see that the marriage she does behind the father's back is something she probably needs Yud and Chappy. She needs what? Get, and really afterwards she needs Niun. So you see again, Shmuel is right and Rav is right. There's a big question here which I'll ask later, not now. Okay, but the question as of itself is clear. You see, she's called an almona, even though the only option is that she married herself. She arranged the marriage, and yet she has halachic status of almona. We don't allow her to marry a kohen. She can be a shifcha because maybe if it's not the end of the world. But she's called an almana. She's not recommended to the Rav would not marry her to the kohen gadol or to kohen idiot. Answers the Gemara. There's a third way out. Amar Vamram, Amar Yitzchak, Hacha b'kiddushe Yiud. Originally, there was Yiud. The first time, before Mr. Cohen came into the scene, she was already sold as an Amma, right? And she was Misya Edis. The master told her, you are me, you Edis to me. How does that help? It's still the father. The father is the one who arranges the Yud. Says the Gemara, no. This is good chazor for Daf Yud Chetzis Tes. This follows the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. What did he say? The Omar, Moisar Rishonos Lav LeKiddushin Nitnu. Rabbi Yehuda is the only one in the world that created a reality in which a girl can be the Orais and Mekudesh by herself without the father, and nothing to do, by the way, with our sugya of the one doing behind the back of the father. The father is not the one Mekadesh, and yet she's Mekudesh's Doraisa underage. How could that be? Says Rabbi Yehuda, I'm sure you have it in some kind of cell in your memory. We learned it, I don't know, about 2 months ago. The story is as follows. Usually, how do we look at Yud? The father comes and says, do you want to buy my daughter? I don't have bread to eat, and you're a rich guy. You have a big house. You have a big villa there in Yale. You need to clean all your floors. Take my daughter as a shifcha. Not doing so well in school anyways, right? There's nothing to eat at home. We're starving. Buy my daughter. Okay, I'll buy your daughter. I know you'll treat her nicely. You won't abuse her. I'm going to visit her every day. All very nice. Beautiful. And he's giving him how much? The villa owner, the big house owner, gives him 6 million shekels for the girl. 6 years. Very nice. Now, and then they say, I'm going to marry her, or my son will marry her, the girl. Okay, eventually. So now, how does it work? Usually we say, where's the case of Kiddushin? He doesn't have to give her money. When he's about to be Mekadosh her Beyi'ud towards the end of the 6 years, but before the end of the 6 years, then there's one of two options. Chachamim say, well, the father already got money. He got 6 million. He got 6 million shekels. That's more than my wife got from me, or I think even the richest Bukhari doesn't give 6 million as a wedding ring, right? So he got money already at the beginning of the deal. That money will now change, will morph from kesef of sale to kesef of kiddushin. That's a traditional way. That's Tanakama, that's Chachomim, and then the father is in charge. The father received the kiddushin and not her. However, BSD Yehuda holds of a whole different story. BSD Yehuda says as follows: the first money has nothing to do with the yud. The father received 6 million shekels for all the diapers she's going to change for 6 years and wash the floor and do the dishes, as we say, and dust all the mahogany tables. Yeah, but the Kiddushin Yud, no. Kiddushin Yud, you know how it works? I'm reminding you, Rabbi Sabida says, let's say before the end of 6 years, we now meter out, we basically measure, let's say every 15 minutes of her work is worth a pruta. So he's telling her, listen, 15 minutes before you leave the job, don't work. Don't do that work of 15 minutes that's worth a pruta. And with that work that you owe me, you sit there like a queen, don't do anything. And with that money, I mekadesh you. I'm giving you ki'ilu, the debt you owe me. You're now working and working to pay off the 6 million that I gave. Now, let's say pruta is 1 shekel, even though it's less. I know it's less, doesn't matter. Let's say 1 shekel is pruta, and 15 minutes is worth 1 shekel. Don't work for 15 minutes. I'm giving you a gift of 15 minutes freedom, time out, time off break, and with that, I'm a kadishu. That's between him and her, not between him and the father. And that works the Oraisa. So now we found a way out. We kept cornering Ula and Rav Huna, right? Saying Ula and Karna, excuse me. Ula and Karna, now saying, no, there's a third way. We don't have to say that every time a girl is married because of miun, it's because, this is the miun and get of the girl who went behind her father's back, which according to Rav Shmuel has to have get and miun. No, get and miun. No, it could be another way. For example, over here, there's a way of the Oraisa girl being married, yeah, and nevertheless, she's called an almona because it's the Oraisa, but the father is still allowed to marry her. And the father is still allowed to what? The father is still allowed to sell her to the Kohen. Why? Because it wasn't his thing. In other words, we're asking, how can the father marry her off to, sell her to a Kohen after she's been already married? If I am the father and I am the one who's Mekadosh her, I cannot go afterwards and sell her. But if she Ki'ilu married herself to the guy through Yud, and I wasn't involved, and then after Yud he died or divorced, then she is going back home because it's only Erusin and not Nisuin. And then at that point, because it was her thing and not my thing, her deed and not my deed, I am allowed as a father to sell her to the Kohen. Two dots. Baruch Hashem. You can review this at home if you want, with a video, without the video, whichever way you want. Tonight is the night. Whoever wants to join the second Amud Yomi Shiur, there's an additional Amud Yomi Shiur tonight from 9:20 till 10. Everybody's coming from Chefziba. That's in Tractate Sabbath with the International Geirushin program. Stay there. Everybody on YouTube and Torah anytime. It will not be recorded. It will be on Zoom though. Whoever wants Zoom, it will be in Zoom. It will be in English, not Hebrew. Yeah, although there was suggestion for Hebrew. Yeah, I'm with you. Hatzlacha bracha. Thank you, everybody. Good day.